The Green Bay Packers faced the New England Patriots on Sunday night, and there was a bit of a buzz, a sense that fans were about to see something rare. It was only the second head-to-head meeting between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, which just seems wrong considering that Brady is a surprisingly agile, 41 years of age, and it's been a decade since the 34-year-old Rodgers' first full year as an NFL starting quarterback. Rodgers, in fact, had never played at Gillette Stadium before. The 31-17 New England win may have told us something about where these two teams are, but it didn't end up being anything resembling a referendum on the two quarterbacks themselves. Part of the reason for the fact that this was only their second meeting is that the two quarterbacks, who share 5 MVPs between them, have been on the same teams, and different conferences, for their entire careers. It's an accident of history, a side effect of teams knowing they had found their franchise quarterbacks and not letting them go. There was some thought that, considering the success that both players have had, that they would meet in a Super Bowl. That has yet to happen. Despite the fact that Rodgers has consistently been one of the best players in the league, the Packers have only appeared in one Super Bowl with him as their starter, their 31-25 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 45. As it is, the only Rodgers/Brady game we had before last night was a regular season meeting back in November 2014 when the Packers snapped a Patriots' 8-game win streak. While the old saying that quarterbacks never really meet head-to-head because they don't share the field, the idea of a quarterback duel isn't ridiculous. Great quarterbacks can often spur each other to put together their best performances. In scheduling this game as the Sunday night matchup, the NFL was hoping that we would see a similar kind of shootout as the Patriots' SNF game against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs earlier this season. Patriots/Packers wasn't up to that level, although it was a close enough contest for much of the night. Without one of his favorite targets in Rob Gronkowski, Brady was something of a game manager for the first 2 quarters, and he struggled to find his rhythm in the third, throwing a rare 6 straight incompletions. At one point, have the Green Bay Packers wasted Aaron Rodgers' best years? Read more. In the end, the marquee quarterback battle ended up being not exactly a bust, but not exactly a thrilling shootout either. Rodgers threw for 2 touchdowns and 259 yards while Brady threw for just 1 and picked up 294 yards, and neither threw a pick. Both quarterbacks did enough to win. The Patriots just played better as a team, thanks in no small part to their defense stepping up in the second half. Playing at home didn't hurt either. The Patriots remain a perfect 5-0 on the road, while the Packers are a dismal 0-4 away from Lambeau Field. Having the Boston Red Sox World Series trophy in the building also provided an extra boost of mojo for the Patriots. In the end, comparing how the two quarterbacks did in this one game feels a little silly. Their legacies are too big to be affected by the results of just the second of 2 head-to-head matchups. The results were more indicative about where each team is at this point of the season. The Patriots improved their record to 7-2, comfortably on top of the AFC East. The underachieving Packers are 3-4-1, third in the NFC North. Despite Rodgers putting up solid numbers, after Sunday's game he has thrown 13 touchdowns to 1 interception. In a night that was all about the two teams' leading men, the game proved that it's still a team sport, and, unfortunately for Rodgers, he has not always been given a strong cast of extras. MVP of the week: Drew Brees, QB New Orleans Saints. Brees threw for 3 touchdowns in the first half against the Los Angeles Rams and immediately seemed to have clinched this week's MVP honors. However, the Rams' defense stifled Brees and the Saints' offense in the second half and came back to tie things up 35-35 in the game's fourth quarter. No worries for the Saints, who jumped in front with a field goal before Brees jumped in front of our informal MVP rankings with a 72-yard dagger to Michael Thomas. Brees had 346 passing yards on the day and, it should be noted, The Saints handed the Rams their first loss of the season, a 45-35 stunner that dropped their record down to 8-1. The Saints, meanwhile, remain on top of the NFC South standings with their 7-1 record, keeping one step ahead of the Carolina Panthers. Stat of the Week 3. That's how many pick sixes Buffalo Bills quarterback Nathan Peterman has in his career after the one he threw in their 41-9 loss to the Chicago Bears. That's notable because he has thrown just 3 touchdowns total in his career, or 6 total, 3 of them to the correct team, if you want to look at things from a glass-half-full standpoint. He did, however, rush for 1 in today's effort, which didn't quite make up for the 3 interceptions he threw in the 2-7 Bills' latest piece of evidence for Colin Kaepernick's collusion case against the NFL Video of the Week at NFL Oh My Goodness at Curtis Samuel 4_ flushed face, television, Fox #keep pounding pic.twitter.com/zerodb5's November 4, 2018. The Carolina Panthers' Curtis Samuel went off on one of the most bewildering runs you'll see against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Officially, the play went for 33 yards, but Samuel actually ran 103 yards in total. The Panthers eventually defeated the Buccaneers 42-28 with their 3rd straight win, improving their record to 6-2. Also, the Panthers now officially lead the league in rushing yards by wide receivers with 193. Quote of the week: I'm taking my time with it. Also, I wouldn't want to do that with all the guys out of the building. I'd like the whole team in here, too, when I decide that. You try to make every decision, not just about personnel, but what you do in the building. Everything is ultimately about wins and losses, so you decide what gives you the best chance to win. San Francisco 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan pretending that there's a chance that anybody but Nick Mullins is going to start at quarterback against the New York Giants on 12th of November. Mullins went 16 for 22 in his first professional game on Thursday, accumulating 262 yards and throwing for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions in a 34-3 win over the Oakland Raiders. The 2-7 49ers are not going with anybody else when they play against the Giants, but good for Shanahan for providing a classic example of a coach making an utterly unconvincing case to an unconvinced media. Elsewhere around the league, Drew Brees' impressive game knocked off Patrick Mahomes from the MVP of the Week category, but don't worry, he'll almost certainly be in the running next time around. This week the young quarterback threw 3 touchdowns and picked up 375 yards in the Kansas City Chiefs' 37-21 win over the Cleveland Browns. As always, he had some help with his talented receivers. Travis Kelce caught 2 of those touchdowns while Kareem Hunt caught 1 and ran for 2 more. It's always a full team effort for the Chiefs, whose 8-1 record ties them with the LA Rams for best in the league, but the runaway favorite for league MVP is clearly the engine that keeps the whole thing going. The jury is still firmly out on the number 3 overall pick from this year's draft, Sam Darnold. Although he has shown glimpses of promise, the rookie threw 4 interceptions and no touchdowns in the New York Jets' 13-6 loss to the Miami Dolphins. In mitigation, the Jets' starting center, Spencer Long, appears to have a case of the yips and delivered bad snap after bad snap until he was taken out of the game. The win snapped a 2-game losing streak for the Dolphins, who kept their playoff hopes alive and are now 5-4 this season. There were football-related highlights in the Seattle Seahawks' 25-17 loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. But the following celebration is the one that trumps them all. The 4-4 Seahawks may not be 100% all in on their coordinators, but their team choreographers are top-notch. At Seahawks this team is fun. #wootspick.twitter.com/cdnardman. November 4, 2018. The Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens 23-16 in a game in which Ben Roethlisberger put on a full display of his talents, throwing for 2 touchdowns. running for another and then adding a 27-yard punt from the Baltimore 38. At 5-1, the Steelers currently sit on top of the AFC North. It was a drought that lasted 12 straight games, but Atlanta wide receiver Julio Jones finally caught a touchdown during the Falcons' 38-14 win over Washington. It was a big day overall for Jones, who has remained an effective receiver for Atlanta despite his lack of touchdowns. With the win, the Falcons evened their season record at 4-4.